Hey guys, Sandy here, and welcome back to Follow a Sketch Friday. Today we are using this sketch right here. It has three 3x4 photos on it. Now I've pulled out a bunch of photos. None of them are spectacular, but they are memories from doing some fireworks in the backyard. So I definitely want to document that in my 2019 album. Now, if you guys remember, Crafty Meggy is joining me this month for Follow a Sketch Friday. So be sure to check out her channel and her video. It'll be linked down below. So let's see what I can do. All right, so I started out with grabbing some pattern papers, and I have this really old decorative cardstock from Chatterbox that is ridiculously ancient. I also have this firework pattern paper from Echo Park, and then I grabbed a sheet of yellow cardstock from my stash, and not only does it match the yellow tones in the photos, but it also matches the yellow in the fireworks. Either way, I wouldn't have been upset if I didn't have yellow in my fireworks. If they were just red, white, and blue, that would have been totally cool too. I just probably wouldn't have used a yellow piece of cardstock in the background. And the reason why I grabbed this firework paperwork as opposed to any other firework paper that I had is because it's the first one I got to. And I figured there was enough yellow in the photos that it went fine. As you guys know, I don't normally worry about the colors of my photos matching the colors of my papers, but this time it was just one of those times where everything just worked together for good. So I have matted my photos down on that blue cardstock, and now I'm just using the sketch to figure out how they should be situated. And I follow the sketch pretty closely this time. But, you know, and it ends up being a really simple layout. And I think that that's okay, just because there's a lot going on in this layout. And that sounds very wrong to say that it's a simple layout, but a lot going on. But I hope when you see the layout finished, you'll kind of get what I'm saying. So I have my photos stacked on top of each other, and then I'm just going to figure out where I want the photos to go on top of this center page, like the center paper in the page. Now I have this rubber stamp from Darkroom Door, and if you have never had stamps from Darkroom Door, I am telling you, you are seriously missing out. Their rubber is such a high quality, and it just feels so good and so luxurious. When I met Rachel at Creativation, I asked her, I was like, why does your rubber feel so different? Why does it feel so good? And she was like, because we pay a lot of money for good rubber, and it really is good. So I have this, it is a 12 by 12 stamp. I'm just using my Brutus Monroe detail ink on top of it. And then if I had the 12 by 12 Misty, which is on my wish list once it gets its revamp, that is on my wish list. If I had that, I would do that. However, I decide that I'm going to try to brayer this bad boy on my paper here, and it doesn't turn out. Spoiler alert. So I press it down and then I brayer it, and you can see the stamp, you can see it moving. Like, I don't have it. And then I'm like, oh, yeah. So I flip my paper over and I'm going to try it again because that's what I do. So I'm putting more of this Raven detail ink on top of my rubber stamp pad. And the ink is just, it stamps nice and smoothly, and it gives me a pretty crisp image for what I'm doing. I mean, I'm using a background stamp. I'm not using a stamping block. I'm not using a stamping tool. I'm just using my fingers. So I press it down, and then instead of rolling it and moving it around, I'm kind of holding it in place while I press it down. So it shifts ever so slightly at the end there, but it really doesn't cause anything to happen here on the layout. Now, when I originally did this layout, my thought process was I was going to stamp these stars out a couple times and make some 3D and pop them up on some foam, but ultimately I just decided that wasn't the way I wanted to go with this layout. I really just liked the pop of black peeking out from the fireworks. So I am using some fun foam right here, and it's just to pop up the photo mats, just to give it a little bit of kind of pizzazz, because like I said, this layout is going to be pretty simple. And I figured since I wasn't popping up the stars, I might as well pop up the photos. And it's just me trying to figure out where I want them to be situated so that the lines don't kind of merge together. So when I first had that down, the bottom photo, the edge of the bottom photo was lined up with the edge of the paper, and I didn't want that. I didn't want any of the lines to match up. So I just went ahead and moved my photo over slightly, and then that got rid of that matchy line. So I'm taking these star embellishments. I got them from, I want to say Joann's at Christmas time, because I used them in my December project. They had gold and silver stars on them, and I just decided to use these silver ones. And at first I was covering up every single star on here, but then I felt like it was a little bit too much. So I removed some of them, and as you can see, I'm like, nope, too much. So I removed some of them and just moved around the stars a little bit to where I thought it made some sense. Whew, got a yawn in there. So allergies are kicking, and it is lawn day in our neighborhood. There's a whole bunch of houses around us that use the same lawn service, so they all come over and on Thursdays, and everyone's lawn is taken care of. And woo, man, I am feeling it. So I have these patriotic thickers that I got from Tuesday morning, and I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to do. At first I was really going to follow the sketch and put the title vertically, but ultimately that's not what I don't like it with what I have going on. So I have of July, because on a previous 4th of July layout that I had done, I had taken the word 4th off of there. So now I have of July, and I'm going to put down of July and then bring in another type of embellishment for 4th. And I go through my figures and try to figure out what I'm going to do with that. I'm thinking about adding these thicker stars, and they don't end up staying because I feel like I have these silver kind of plasticky stars over on the left-hand side of the page, so I should bring them over to the right-hand side of the page instead of creating this division line where I have one type of stars on one side and one type of stars on the other. And then I just need to figure out what is going to go over here for 4th. So at first I try these thickers from Chamel, but they are super thin, and you just don't see them on this background paper. So I put those back, and I end up pulling out other thickers from Chamel, and these are from Sparkle City. They have a silver holographic foil line down in the blue, and I ultimately decide to go for 4TH because I had the letter still and it works for me. So we have 4th of July, and then I'm going to add, I was thinking about adding the date like right there or something, but I didn't like it how I could see it in my mind's eye. So if I have my layout and I kind of like rub my finger across the page, I can kind of visualize what would be going there, and I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling it whatsoever. Now on the sketch, it does have kind of this embellishment over top of the photo, so I decided to grab this blue and silver washi tape and just place it over here on the very edge. You're not losing any of the photo whatsoever. You're not covering up anything important. It's just kind of chilling out there. And then I'm looking at this and I'm like, I really don't know what else to add. Like, I'm feeling good about it. There's not really any more that needs to be said or needs to be added to this page for embellishments. So I grab my Muji pen, I do a messy kind of border around the outside of it, just to bring the black in a little bit more. But because I have this black ink over here from the stamping, but black nowhere else really on the page. So I added that doodly border right there, and then I'm going to add some journaling as well, just to make sure that there is some more black on this layout. So it's not this, you know, completely random bit of stars over here on the side. I add a couple more clusters of the stars, and really that's the only embellishment that is going on this layout is going to be these silver stars. So I'm really looking at this and thinking about this, guys, like what does it need? What else does it need? And I could have gone big with this, but I just felt like I didn't need to. I've had some pretty big layouts that I've made recently, meaning like big impact layouts, and you'll be able to see some of them soon. They're not scheduled yet. But I just felt like this didn't need to be one of those. So I add my journaling to the page, and that is going to do it for this layout. Please make sure that you check out Crafty Meggy's link down below. She is joining me for the entire month of May for Follow a Sketch Friday. And then, of course, the Pinterest board is down below as well for all the sketches that have been used since I brought back Follow a Sketch Friday. And that'll do it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys again real soon for another video.